Okay, so I know it's been a while, but well, in fact it's been almost 2 years. But instead, I'm going to carry on working through the instructions of this Sopwith Camel again. And for anybody who's building this along, or you're obviously going to build this, or you come across this video in the future, I'm working on step 11 of the instructions. Okay, so this is like I say, if anybody who's building along with this, these are how you get the instructions, where you get the steps and then you work through the steps. A bit like building a part work, and then you move to the next step. So that's done them. So this is step 11. I'm going to be adding this, it's like a rear landing leg, or I'm not really sure the correct name, but yeah, we're going to be adding this. So I've already painted it to, and it constructed the construction to the instructions. I've already painted it exactly how it tells you in the instructions. So now I'm just going to fit it over these next few stages. Okay, so this is the part that we're going to be fitting today, and that kind of slips between there, goes inside that little groove, and also there's a tiny little groove in this part, and that's going to be glued onto the back of the tail fin. So ideally I would I'd have soldered this, but since I've had a bit of a move around, I can't for the life of me find out where any of my soldering gear is. So, and like I say, most people have already just been super gluing this, so for the purpose of today's video, I'm just going to be super gluing it. So one of the first things we'll do is we'll get this super glued in. So for the purpose of the video, so people know exactly what I'm using this odorless, I think it's just like rocket. It's odorless, and I use this because, like I say, a lot of people know I suffer terribly with my sinuses, so having this odorless super glue works really good. And it's also a very good glue to use. So I'm just going to drop it on just on top of a little just plastic tub, really. If you've got some 2 parts epoxy resin, you can use that as well. I'm just going to drop a little bit in that channel, and I'm just going to drop a little bit in that little groove. So kind of bring them in best you can, and you want to try and get that centered the best you can. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad here, because it should just kind of run between them wooden parts that we've fitted before. Just keep your eye on it, make sure it looks good, and then it just falls straight off. That's why one of the better advantages is to use a 2-part epoxy resin. Solder, I should say. I'll say a little bit of silver solder in just in that join and just get it, but like I say, I just can't find my soldering stuff anywhere, but I think it's getting it. Then we'll just add a little bit more super glue just around the where the 2 parts meet. We need to complete solid, because we actually just need to slightly lift this tail up. Okay, so I've got that. So I think the best thing to do is just let that set for about 10 minutes, because then we've got to adjust this up so we can kind of glue these 2 sections in between these wooden like fins. That's been setting for about 5 minutes. I'll just put a little mini peg on just so it kind of keeps it completely where it should be while we move on to the next stage. Okay, so next stage is we need to get this little bracket there. It needs to be super glued between the slots in this this wooden kind of, I'm not really sure what it is, like a fin or something, but it needs super gluing just between there. So that's why I was saying it's important that that part's stuck well, because as you can see, when we lift that up, it kind of alters the angle of the tail. So that's all we need to do. So same again, just going to get some super glue Just going to apply some either side of this like metal bracket, making sure that you can see that either side, and then I'm just going to run a little bit just on the inner edges of this wood section as well, and then I'm going to push it up, and adjust it until we're nice and flush, and then we can kind of just pinch that. And same again, probably just hold that for a few seconds for the glue to go off. Maybe some 60-second super glue would be fine, like a super glue gel. Okay, so that's set. Then, like I say, I just held it for about 3 minutes until it's finally gone off. Like I say, sometimes it's just when you've got angled section like that, the best clamps in the world are your fingers, and I just held that for about 2 minutes while the glue dried. So, okay, so next we need to turn this over. We need to start adding a couple of these photo etch parts. So in the instructions, we get this part, and this is A34, and all I did is cut it out the sprue. And all I did is just cut it out the sprue with the parts A on. And all we need to do is we need to glue this in place between these two pins and across this bottom edge of this wood, which is quite good because it's like another point of contact that will glue all these sections together and make it a little bit more ready. So I'm going to run a little bit of glue over the edges of the wood, across the metal section, and then across that wood as well. And like I say, this will just tie things a bit more together. So I'm going to drop that over there. Like I say, sometimes this is where like 30, I think these are 30-second super glue is best, so you can adjust it, but I've still got a bit of time with this one, so it's not so bad. And just keep adjusting it until it lines up the kind of best you can get it. Like I say, I'm going for the very much the bare metal finish for this model. So I mean, it doesn't actually tell you to paint this in the instructions, but yeah, I wouldn't be painting it if it did. Just any slightly adjustments, and that's that one. And like I say, that's kind of tied up them two parts together as well. So like I say, because you do worry with super glue all the time that things might fall out. Well, so I seem to have got it quite nice. Okay, so now we need to do the same with this one. So this wood can be brought down and be glued over that little bridging section there. And that obviously, why that can be moved is because it needs to be brought down to the correct angle. This one should be kind of easier because the angle of the tail is already in that position now, so we can just bring that down and glue that in place. So, super glue along both sides. Yeah, this super glue's been a little bit of a game changer for me. This oldest one I used to suffer, well, I still do with obviously sinusitis, but having like one less thing to worry about, we're obviously not having a really solvent super glue. Okay, then we do the same again. We've got another one of these parts, which is another A34, and that fits on the top this time. So I'm hoping you can kind of see. You just have to feed it in one way and then hold it in the adjust it in the correct position. So I'm just going to get a little bit of a test fit first. That can come off now. Okay, so that's in. So I'm going to do this time, because I knew it would be a bit more awkward one to kind of fit that while the glue was on. I'm just going to apply the glue after and let some of the capillary action take the glue into where we need to be. So all they're doing is just letting the glue kind of run under the parts. line them up. And that's that top one added. Well, let's say a little bit later on, if there's any glue got onto the face, and I'll just get my little fiberglass pencil and I'll just scrub that off. Okay, so that's them two parts added. So now we need this part. This is A28. This is another piece from the photo etch section. I've just bent that with two little folds. So one goes just on the forward edge, and that part we just fitted. It lines up around about in line with that section. So put some super glue along this edge. And then we'll drop that on. And just adjust it. And it wants to be around about in that position there. Like I say, I'll just check that after and go over it. A little bit of the fiberglass pencils in case any glue's got on the front. So this was the part, and all I've done is just, you've got your fold lines. So I've got these little like duck nose pliers, and it's just a bend 90 degrees one way, and then a bend 90 degrees the other way. And then you can just squeeze it a touch, not too much, because you want to put it over the frame, and then that's going to fit. I'll do with that one, just exactly over there. So again, I'm just going to run a little bit of super glue in the area that it needs to be. Get my tweezers this time, and just drop that over there, and then just adjust it to where it needs to be. Kind of look at it down to make sure they kind of look like they're lined up, which they do. And that's it. That's them two parts fitted. Okay, so that's pretty much everything done in step 11, adding that section on. And then in the next video, we'll move on to step 12.